is hard. It's really hard on your mental health sometimes. I've definitely had times where I get dressed up, get ready to make content, and then I'm just like, nah. My biggest thing is there are times where I just have to not work, and it's hard because everything's on my phone. Social media, I suggest doing it at like a certain time. Don't just be on there all the time. That's the kind of thing that will wear you down. Always remember that there are filters. Like, don't compare yourself to somebody that's got a filter, because that's a big thing that, like, it's been proven that Instagram fucks with people's self-esteem. Like, you have to know that and go in, like, telling yourself, this is something that's going to happen and I gotta be aware of it. But just in general too, I listen to a lot of music, like just general kind of self-care. You can't neglect self-care either. But my biggest thing is limiting the amount of time that I put into, especially conversations, like going back and forth with people who haven't paid me. Like trying to make conversions, where I've put it at a certain point. Like if you don't buy by X time on Snap, you're gone. Like that kind of thing. It seems bitchy, but it's really just taking care of yourself and being business minded. And I feel like that is hard for a lot of people to remember that they are trying to do it's a business transaction. And I know that takes some of the sexy out of it. But if you haven't paid me to be sexy with you yet, it's transactional right now. Like, we're talking about it, we're planning it. But if you have no intention of paying me, I'll know by 5 or 10 minutes in. And that's again part of why I've just been trying to tell people, these things, and want to get that Discord running for creators, because that shit is so important, and self-care is so important, and just, it is hard. It's really hard on your mental health sometimes. I've definitely had times where I get dressed up, get ready to make content, and then I'm just like, nah, and when that happens, like, let it happen and don't beat yourself up, because everybody has bad days.
Ain't that the truth? Yeah, well said. Well said. Especially, I really like what you said about that. Like when you're trying to make a conversion, like that's gotta get demoralizing. Like after a while, like you keep trying, it's not working. You start fucking like, oh God, this shit isn't working. Then you keep going and going, and it just isn't happening. Like that's gotta beat you down eventually.
It does. And there's a lot of, honestly, I invested in Canva at the suggestion of a girl in one of my Snap groups. And I make flyers so that I can just send people. So like if somebody's like, hey, I'm interested in booking, I can just send them a picture instead of having to chit chat. That flyer, for example, has prices, and then it says like what dates, like when I'm generally available, what my deposit is, and what I accept, which is Cash App. So it saves so much time just having graphics, and people are more apt to like look at the graphics and read them than they are the words anyway. So I guess that's another way I probably help my mental health, is just minimizing the crud that you have to deal with from people that are wasting your time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that all makes sense. It's good.